Yeah, man, it's Kevin Christian, and I want to talk about the the structure of like this gang stalking thing with like the way that some of them are more like brokers, and then some of them are more like, or I would say some of them are more like dealers almost, and then some of them are more like users. Okay, the dealers are also the users, but not to the extent that the users are like the users. So basically, I've got three guys on my neural monitoring. Okay, acting real stupid all the time. They're very obsessed with me, with every detail I have going on, with every little aspect of my life, with every little thought that I have. Everything. They're just infatuated by it, and I've come to realize over the years that um, they're not capable of thinking on the same level that I am. And so when I think and it hits their mind, it's like some enlightening, uplifting. It's like a achieving a higher state of consciousness that they are not able to achieve on their own. So it's kind of strange that they can't think on a level of that intelligence level, but at the same time they can comprehend it if it's already processed and then they receive it, then they can comprehend it, so it makes sense to them. They just couldn't initiate it in the first place, so it's like putting their mind into overdrive. It's like woo. So um, I can see how it's addictive for them. Okay, but none of the three guys, and I've had a lot more than these three. These are the three that I'm dealing with uh, recently, and for like today, yesterday, for the last 3 years. These are the guys that I'm dealing with on a daily basis. Now, the thing about it is, these are not the guys. These are not the people. None of these three guys are the one person that put me on remote neural monitoring. All right, I know who put me on remote neural monitoring, and it wasn't any of these three guys. So the way that it works, if you're dealing with gang stalking, and um, you know you may not even know what's going on, or you may not even know that you're dealing with gang stalking if you are. But um, if you're started to experience artificial telepathy with these morons talking to you all the time, then you know. Then it gives away a lot because they start talking. Now, the first thing, don't believe anything that they say. Um, they're gonna they know what you're thinking. Okay, they have every advantage to be able to manipulate a situation to make you believe things that aren't true. And that's the kind of things I talk about on my channel all the time. But um, if you're experiencing this, then the people that are talking to you, it's very unlikely that they're the ones that put you on remote neural monitoring. So now I happen to know that um, I happen to know who put me on remote neural monitoring. All right, and I happen to know that a lot of other people were put on remote neural monitoring the same way by the same person. So, um, but this is not the person that's gang stalking me every day. And so, even though there's no structured program, like people talk about the gang stalking program and all of this stuff, and there is some structure to it, but it's like just the structure that fell into place. It's not a preset. Here's who you answer to and this type of thing. It's not like that at all. So if somebody puts you on remote neural monitoring, then they can allow whoever they want to be on your channel. Okay, so they might put a bunch of people on remote neural monitoring and then let a bunch of gang stalkers be the ones to gang stalk you. Now, at the gang stalking level, when you're talking about the person that's on mind control, talking to you with artificial telepathy, harassing you every day, attacking you with broadcasts, what you probably think is direct energy weapons, and in a sense it's a satellite broadcast, but they're controlling it. They're they're connected to the broadcast, living as broadcast. When you're talking about these people, these street level gang stalkers that are actually the ones doing this stuff to you, they're junkies. They're mind control junkies. And they most likely came from a situation or are still in a situation where they are drug addict type of junkies, because that's the personality type that it takes to become a gang stalker. Okay, not because you have to be evil or you have to be this or that or whatever, but you're going to need that addictive personality. Okay, so if somebody gets on drugs and they're strung out, say somebody's strung out on crack, all right, um, it might be your best friend or your family member, but they will steal from you. They will break in your house. They will steal your car. They will do anything they can just to get some money to get some crack. Okay, and they don't care if you know. They know you're gonna know. They don't even think that through. They don't even care that much. Okay, and that's how this mind control is. Because see, if they're on mind control and they're able to achieve a higher level of intelligence and a consciousness by connecting to somebody that's more intelligent than them, that can think smarter than them, that they can't do it. Okay, and it's difficult for smart people to understand, why some people can't do this or that, but if you're a smart person, at some point you realize that not everybody's a smart person, and you can't get frustrated with people that aren't smart, that aren't that smart, because they just aren't, and they can't help that that's who they are, or that's what they were dealt. Now I do think that there's some aspect of it as far as like how you're raised and how motivated you are to learn, and how driven you are. I mean, whatever's the opposite of lazy, because a lot of people are dumb because they're lazy, and it just one goes well with the other, because you just don't care to do anything to make yourself better. So you don't care to learn anything. You don't care to take the extra steps to think about things. So you just make dumb decisions and dumb choices and dumb moves all the time because it's just easier. So you thought, or whatever. Okay, so anyway, these gang stalkers, when they're connected to you, they love the way that your mind works, and they've become addicted to mind control, to achieving this accelerated mind state that they're unable to achieve on their own. So they are mind control addicts, mind control junkies, just like the exact same as a drug addict trying to smoke some crack or do some cocaine or whatever you want to do, trying to do some methamphetamines and even weed. But people who smoke weed aren't really junkies. But you might notice that people that smoke weed, they need to smoke some weed, or they become frustrated and irritable and hard to deal with, because they need to achieve that mind frame that they like to be in. But people that do hard drugs, they become very dependent on those drugs, and they want to achieve a different level of thought process and a different type of feeling. Okay, and that's exactly the same principles behind mind control. And so when you're dealing with these street level, these people that stay on mind control 24/7, it's because they're mind control junkies. All right, now if you're going to stay on mind control 24/7, you got to wear this weird headset thing, and you got to be connected to somebody unconsensually, and you're going to be sitting at home doing this. Okay, hidden away. You're not going to be out in public. You're going to be sitting at home, hidden away, doing this mind control thing secretly, wherever you live. And if you're doing that 24/7 because you can't get off of mind control, you're gang stalking this person, you want to stay on mind control with them all the time, and you can't do it, so you're not going to have a job. You're not going to be doing much else of anything other than sitting around on mind control, probably 95 to 99% of the time. Literally, they're always on my channel. And it's not a chatterbot. It's because when they go on broadcast, it puts them into this sleep state so they can lay there and basically sleep while they talk to you and gang stalk you. They're less coherent. Most of them are less coherent in that type of state of mind. But it is the truth. Then that's why they can do this 24/7, and they do this 24/7, and they're addicts. Okay, so people that have access to neuromonitoring that are less likely to stay on mind control all the time, there's a good chance that they're a little bit smarter, okay, than the junkies that stay on your channel gang stalking you 24/7. But the thing is that these gang stalkers that, like the ones on my channel, they're doing live streams, all right? That's how the live streams, the EMF broadcast live streams, is how they support their habit of being on mind control 24/7, because they don't have jobs or anything else. They might get a government check, some kind of government check and some assistance, and then 10 of them live in a house together, so they're probably making it. But if they want to generate much else from this whole thing, they have to do live streams. And so the live stream is bringing in something. So they're making money off of live streams, and they got people that are paying them, or some kind of negotiations they've worked out to receive something in order to allow people to connect and interact with the live stream, or just access the live stream in general. Okay, and what I believe that you have in that type of situation is a pyramid scheme. Okay, so such and such person puts you on remote neural monitoring. Okay, then they got 4 or 5 gang stalkers doing live streams, and each of them might be making a little bit of money, and then it filters up. So they will probably get a percentage or some kind of amount of each of those persons' live streams. Now, say if that person that puts you on remote neural monitoring has 3 or 4 gang stalkers on your channel doing live streams, and they're getting a little bit from each of them. Okay, and then, but you're not the only one. Say that person has 20 people on remote neural monitoring, and then they've all got several gang stalkers on their channel, and whoever puts you on remote neural monitoring, they probably put half of these gang stalkers on remote neural monitoring. But once they found out, hey, this is somebody I can work with, then they go ahead and give it to them. So you could do these live streams, and so there does start to be some structure to the whole thing, but it's more of a structure like the underground drug cartel type of structure, or more like a street gang type of structure, rather than something official that starts at a government level. Now, obviously, these gang stalkers and the higher up gang stalkers that are brokering these deals to have people gang stalk, which, by the way, a lot of the time has a lot to do with needing to get rid of that person, or wanting to destroy that person, or having some sort of personal vendetta against that person, or being jealous of that person being with somebody else, or something like that. There's a lot of reasons that this could happen. Okay, but none of these gang stalkers, or the higher up gang stalkers, or any of them put satellites into orbit. None of them. So somebody did. So we know NASA put satellites into orbit. A lot of people blame the NSA for gang stalking. I used to do the same thing. I used to come out talking about the NSA and this and that. And I never met one gang stalker that was associated with the NSA, the Masons, the InfraGard, I don't know, whoever else you want to blame this on. What do they call it? The fusion centers. None of these gang stalkers I've ever dealt with are tied into anything like that, any of it. Okay, so some of these gang stalkers that get access to neural monitoring are just like neighborhood people, you know. And some of them, I mean, there's some of these people. I know some people that were 100% normal people that were not associated with any entity of any type that I've known for a long time, and ended up getting access to neural monitoring and becoming gang stalkers. And they don't answer to nobody. They don't answer to anybody. Okay, so I've got a pretty good insight into how all of this works just from knowing a bunch of people that ended up with involvement, and then having the experience of dealing with these people, and finding out everything that's going on over the last 6 or so years. So there is some structure seemingly to the gang stalking world, but it's not from the all the way the higher ups. When you're talking about the higher ups, like the people that leak this technology intentionally, that have something to do with this technology being on satellites, and like high up government officials, or whoever has whatever to do, these super rich people that want to control everybody. um, you're talking about uh, you're talking about a scam that they didn't have to implement in a way of signing everybody up, and telling them what's going on, and giving them the detailed structure of here's what you're going to do. And it wasn't like that. They knew how this was going to play out. I'm sure they had studied it for a long time. I believe this technology has been around for 50 years. I believe that it's been accessible by um, public type of, just regular ordinary people, street level people, for the last um, 10, at least maybe 20 years. I'm thinking about with access to internet. You have to be on the internet to access neural monitoring online, to be able to control any of this stuff on the settings on their neural monitoring, or ours, or any of that, because they like to connect their neural monitoring to ours, and then they can control our settings and theirs, and use it as a weapon against us. And they're controlling their own broadcast settings and who they want to be artificial telepathic with and connect to, and all of this. So um, they have to access it online. So I believe that that's why you hear a lot more about it since mobile internet became a thing, like 2009 and up. That's when it became more widespread. Before that, it was probably happening, but a lot less widespread, because we did have internet. It was just more like home internet, like like DSL or dial-up or something. And that was, from the mid 90s on up. So, it was probably around before then, but you would had to have some kind of special access to some sort of government facility where you would be able to access and control these type of things. So prior to that, you didn't have street level people accessing it, but maybe from the mid 90s, some select street level people, but really it blew up around like '09, '10, and it's been getting worse and worse every year. Now we're 2020. I get new people every day talking to me about it. There's thousands of people all over the internet talking about it everywhere. So it is starting to be a thing, but they knew how this was going to play out when they leaked this technology intentionally. And now these gang stalkers just do what they were expected to do, and nobody had to tell them to do it. But that's how the structure works. So, I got 3 of them on my channel now, and one of them keeps attacking my left eardrum today. So, I'm inspired to talk about it more and come out with more information. So I appreciate him, and you guys can appreciate my gang stalkers for continuing to push and push and push. And that's why I keep going so hard. I got a big agenda as far as like what I'm going to do about all of this stuff, and how it's all going to play out. And I got a lot of hope and positive feelings about the direction that we're heading as far as putting an end to this. It's a evil paradigm altogether, and these idiots, they're just idiots. They're tools. They're tools to the grand scheme, and they don't even care because they're junkies. That's how this works. So my name's Kevin Christian, and I appreciate y'all watching.